Hello, I hope you all are having a wonderful Monday. It is raining here, it's thunderstorming, and I'm really loving it. It's so beautiful. It's perfect for our conversation today and what I wanted to share with you. So, today I want to talk to you about tools for transition and rebirth. We just had this really powerful eclipse, and I've definitely been feeling it. Oh my gosh, just the past few days have just been a huge change and a huge transition for me. Lots of awarenesses have come through, lots of big decisions have been made, and I wanted to share with you some tools for working through these big transitions in our lives and going through these kind of like death, almost like death experiences of the death of really big things in our lives that we've come to know and be comfortable with, and maybe we've gotten really good at, and we're thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to keep going, and life is like, nope, it's time for you to do something else. It's time for you to do something different. So these big times of change and rebirth are so powerful, and sometimes when we are in resistance of them, we end up dealing with pain. We end up dealing with all kinds of things happening in our body, all kinds of emotions coming to the surface, anxiety, depression. All of these things can happen when we are in resistance to change and in resistance to the death that wants to happen in our lives. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today, about some tools for navigating this process. First, I'll talk to you about what that can feel like. So when there's a big transition coming, I'll give you a perfect example. I was having a really hard time with staying focused on these tasks that I had, and I kept trying to figure out ways of like, how do I make this better for myself? How do I make it easier? And even like putting time and energy into working with tools for making it easier, like productivity tools and all these things. And eventually I was like, I actually just don't want to do this. Actually, this is not right for me anymore. But also that awareness came through because I had also been having lots of dreams about with big powerful symbols like snakes, and lots of dreams of actual death in my dreams. And so paying attention to our dreams, paying attention to how we're feeling, paying attention to what's actually calling us, all those things can point us towards a time in our lives when we're being pushed to let go of something, and we're being pushed to open ourselves up to something new and be available for something new. So now I want to share with you some flower essences that you can work with. One of them is Angel's Trumpet, and I love Angel's Trumpet. This is also known as Brugmansia, and it's a flower to work with when we are at a big crossroads, when we're at a big transition, at a big ending in our lives, and we want some spiritual support. So this flower essence in particular, I love to work with as a dream work essence, and connecting with like ancestors in dreams, connecting with just spiritual support through dreams. And Angel's Trumpet is really helpful for helping us gather that support. And helping us to kind of ease through these big transitions and this death and rebirth that we're kind of being pointed towards, this push towards releasing. So that's one of them. Angelica is another. Angelica is one that I typically recommend when people have experienced some kind of actual death in their lives, like someone has died around them and they're wanting to come into a place of just greater peace and being able to like actually start that grief process. And it's Angelica is one that I really like for almost like opening ourselves up to the grief process, whether it's an actual death of someone in our lives, or whether it is the death of a really big part of ourselves, or a really big part of our lives, something that we've put our time and energy and effort into and now is coming to a close. There's a lot that can come with that, and a lot of times it can even push us to even look at how we look at ourselves and how we identify. And that's been a big one coming up for me lately, is like when we have these big transitions and big changes in our lives, it can also push us to look at how we identify, how we identify ourselves. Because if we've always been identified as, for example, a medicine woman or something like that, then when you're being pushed and called to something new and something different, it kind of, there can be almost like this identity crisis. Like, who am I? Who am I if I'm not doing this thing? Who am I if I'm not tapped into what I've been tapped into and what's been giving me energy all this time? What does that mean for me now? So Angelica is one that I like to work with for that shift and that change when it comes to that death of something and stepping into something new. And not even, it's not even so much about stepping into something new, it's more so about being comfortable with the letting go and being okay with the unknown of, I don't know what's coming up next, but right now I want to like help myself get through this process of letting go of where I'm at, letting go of who I've been, who I've come to know myself as, and open myself up to create space for what I could be and what I can become. So I love Angelica for that. Columbine is also really, really great for that. And that was the other essence that I wanted to share with you was Columbine. I love Columbine for that support in letting go of parts of ourselves that we have strong identity connections to, in order to just create space for the next adventure in our lives and create space. Because if we're so tied to what what a particular part of our lives looks like, or what an aspect of ourselves looks like, then it can be hard to like step into this new version of ourselves, or at least create space for that new version of ourselves if we're like, well, no, I've always done it this way, or I've always thought about things this way, or things have always been true for me in this sense and in this light. Columbine allows us to kind of like rebirth ourselves and be okay with our rebirthing process. I would absolutely combine these essences with dream work. Dream work is really powerful. Like I mentioned, I've been having so many dreams about snakes lately. Ancestral dream work is really powerful for like combining with these essences and helping us through these times of rebirth. Ancestors have really powerful ways of sending us symbols in our dreams that really are a catalyst for us to dig deeper. So they'll send us symbols repetitively. They'll send us symbols like over and over and over again. For example, I will have dreams about snakes or spiders over and over and over again. And I would say my dream about snakes started last year in about August. And it's so beautiful to look back on. So definitely journal your dreams, but it's so beautiful to look back on and see that I've been getting this guidance for about a year. So just knowing that I've been supported in this shift and in this change for that long allows me to have more just stability and more strength in letting go of what needs to be let go of right now for me in life. So definitely tap into ancestral dream work. I have a whole course that I created on it to just really expand that for you if you want to dig into that more, with herbs and practices and ritual for connecting with ancestors and really doing that deep ancestral dream work. So the other thing that you can be aware of, if you're someone who has worked with like really powerful plant medicines, like things like psilocybin or ayahuasca or iboga, or just have felt a call to those things, a lot of times those callings will come up at times when we are going, or when we're being asked to let go of something, because those medicines can help us to see what it is that we're so tightly holding on to that we can now let go of. And so just having that awareness is a tool and just something that you can work with to know that you're being called towards a shift and a big change. You're being called to let go of something, because a lot of times, especially with things like psilocybin and iboga, those medicines, for me anyway, have been really powerful for releasing things from the past and being able to vision a new future. So just tapping into that, you can work with those as essences. You don't have to work with those in the more physical sense of doing these long ceremonies, but you can work with them as essences and also in ceremony. So you can create your own ceremony or practice around working with those energetically, or in the more physical sense where you're actually, drinking the tea and sitting for a few hours with those. But yeah, those are the big things that are coming up for me lately and that I wanted to share with you because yeah, we just had this powerful eclipse and there's so much energy towards letting go of old versions of ourselves, letting go of ways that we've identified, letting go of the things that we've been working on, things that maybe we've invested a lot of time and energy into, and creating space for new things to develop. And there's almost this energy of being able to release a suffocation. Like it's almost like some of us have maybe even felt suffocated by things that we've been holding on to from the past that are keeping us from breathing in new life to our lives, breathing in new things to our lives. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I'm curious to know if any of you have felt like there's something in your life that is just become really, really difficult to do, really, really difficult to tolerate, really difficult to put your energy into, where it's just like, maybe it could just be like the smallest task or the smallest part of your work or the smallest thing, but it just feels like it's so much energy to work with it or to do it or to create it or whatever it is. Whenever you're feeling that, that is a sign that, okay, if this little thing is taking so much energy, what's going on here? Maybe it's something that I want to pay attention to, and hopefully some of these essences or even just asking questions, doing that dream work of asking the question before you go to bed, why am I having such a hard time with doing this one thing? Why am I having such a hard time with putting my energy towards this? Why does it feel so like life or death for me? Why does it feel like I just want to say, just throw everything up in the air and just say, I'm done with it? What's the root behind that? And it could be literally the smallest thing that makes you feel that way. So ask those questions and definitely ask them before bed, see what dreams come through. Check out ancestral dream work if you want to dig deeper into that. I'm actually doing a circle with my Sacred Cycles, circle this week. We're going to be talking about ceremony and ritual and working with these powerful times like eclipses, but also with the menstrual cycle and creating ceremony and ritual around that. So this is a really, really great time for maybe 3 nights of ritual, of asking your dreams, what is it that I can let go of right now? What is it that can be released? Maybe incorporating those flower essences and maybe even doing some kind of practice that taps into that energy of release. Maybe it's like a spiritual bath where you're doing herbs that are for clearing, like wormwood or sage, or doing some kind of other practice, even like movement or dance, something that allows you to like sweat things out, and doing that for 3 days in a row and asking your dreams to give you some guidance. But that's one of the ways that you can also work with this energy. You're welcome. I'm so happy to share this, and it's been big for me. It's been really intense. There's a really big shift happening for me and for moon medicine, and I look forward to sharing that with you when the time is right. Right now, things are just in transition, so I'll keep that for me right now, but I am excited about what's coming up. I am excited about the possibility of what's, the space that's being created for this new path to open up, and I hope that you all are also creating space in your lives for new things to open up. That's what this eclipse energy is really about. It's about like being able to let go and create space for whatever comes and being comfortable with that in between, and also being able to honor and even have a ceremony around releasing what is being let go of, what is ending, what is dying. And ceremony again is so powerful for this. So do create some kind of ceremony once you have that awareness of what you're letting go of, and honor it. like honor all the work that you went through, honor all the things that you did, honor all the things that got you to the point where now you're like, oh, now I can release this, now I can let this go, now I can make space for something new. That's a big time. And our ancestors had these practices of having these ceremonies, having these spaces and these special sacred spaces for honoring what we've gone through and all the work that we've done. And I really just feel so strongly about reincorporating ceremony and ritual into our lives so that we can honor what we've created, what we've done, and also be more settled and in our spirit and in our bodies about allowing something new to come in. When we say, okay, yes, thank you, spirit, thank you, ancestors, thank you, everyone in my life, thank you, all the things that have happened and all the things that have gotten me to this point, for all that has come into my life and all that has gotten me here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now I can say, I'm closing this chapter and I'm opening myself up to something new. It's really powerful to have that ceremony and to make space for that. And also it just makes life so much more special. It's so much more special when we honor those times and make space for those new things. So yes, I'm going to enjoy this thunderstorm. It's so beautiful. I love thunderstorms. I feel like it's perfect energy for for tapping into that letting go, that death, that release. I'm almost feeling like making an essence of this time, and maybe working with some of this rainwater in a bath for some nights of ritual to kind of honor this eclipse, honor this closing in my life, and think about ways that you can do that for yourself as well. That's what I have to share with you today, and it was so great to see you. I will see you all again next week. Bye.